Welcome to Through the Rough, a place where real-life people share the real-life experiences that have shaped us into who we are today.
Welcome back to Through the Rough. This is episode 6 of our 11-part series.
Turned federal attorney
Oh, wow.
that ran dope for the cartel.
No shit.
He had he drove an old 50, had Bronze Star on. He was an old Vietnam veteran, and that's what he did. And we got him stopped in Louisiana with a Kia heroin.
Wow.
And then got him coming back from Atlanta with like over $700,000. Yeah, he was no good to us after that.
Yeah.
I mean, we flipped him,
Yeah.
to try and, because, I mean, that's the thing about narcotics, to get on a sidetrack, is we flip them to try and get the big guys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And well, that's what we were trying to do. But, you went there, got popped with the Kia heroin. When you got on, you got popped coming back with our money. They're like, you're too hot. So, we flipped them, but we couldn't use them because they wouldn't use them. And so, so we actually got, and it wasn't me, it was the guys that worked for me that had it, and, the guys that worked for me were great, the cases that they did when I was in narcotics and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, but go back. And so I jack up this white guy and black guy walking down the street, and they just got through getting high. So it hadn't kicked in yet, but it's about to. Well, how I would do it is if you didn't have ID on you, you're always getting in my car. You're getting in the backseat of my car because I'm not going to play the name game with you walking back and forth. If I stopped you on traffic or if I stopped you just walking in the street or whatever, if you didn't have ID on you, you're getting patted down and stuck in my car because I'm not going to sit here and play the name game with you.
Yeah.
Because shockingly, people lie to us.
Do they really?
Yeah. I mean, surprisingly.
Criminals lie to the police?
I was shocked too when
I am amazed.
I mean, and it still shocks me that people
I think they teach
continually
you that in school.
lie to the police. And so they both don't have IDs on them. I throw them in there. Long story short, white guy ends up being wanted for a felony. And that's what I love chasing, because like I said, that evening shift trainer, I love looking for wanted people.
Your original adrenaline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I love looking for wanted people. So I'm like, all right, dude, well, you're wanted. And I tell him, hey, man, as long as you guys are truthful with me and you're not wanted for like a felony or something bad, I don't care about city warrants. You can go on your way unless it's like 20 or something, because I can't let that many go. But so he's wanted, right? So I'm like, all right. I open up the door to let the other guy out because I was able to prove who he was.
Yeah.
He was truthful and everything. Well, white boy starts barreling out of the car. He's going to make it.
The slingshot past the other guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I tackle him into the door and then we roll around on the ground. We get back up. And like I said, I did judo then. So I throw him, bust his head open, but he's high now. Right.
Oh, no.
So the fight's on and the adrenaline's on and we're fighting and shit. And so
what is he high on?
Crack.
Crack?
Yeah. And like, again, like everything, everybody's different. Dexter Manley could smoke crack and it didn't look like a fiend. He was he did, but he wasn't,
strung out.
He was strung out, but he didn't look like it.
Yeah.
He was still a big dude. His arms were still big, but nothing like he used to. Whereas, crack fiends, they're like 110 pounds because
generally pretty withered away.
Yes. Withered. That's the perfect word for it, or like, how the meth addicts, meth monkeys, they're all withdrawn,
very gaunt,
teeth are jacked up because it just rots their teeth and stuff, and plus there's no hygiene with them because all they worry about is just getting high. And so, the fight's on. And so I'm fighting with the guy and his buddy's going, stop, Joe, stop. His name was Joseph Burkhofer. And he's like, stop, Joe, stop. And I'm fighting him and I look at him and I go, hey dude, go in my car and press that red button on my computer, because I'm wrestling with this guy. So I'm called out on it, but I'm not able to get to the radio and drop an assist. And the black guy kind of looks at me and I go press that red button. So he hits the red button on my computer, which drops an assist. And I was maybe a mile from the station and it was like 5:30 in the morning.
400 cops are there and half a second later.
Oh yeah, by far. Well, the guy gets away from me, right? And I was behind him, so he's bled on me because, like I said, when I threw him, I busted his head open.
Yeah.
So, and back then I wore glasses too. And so my glasses are off. So he's bled on me, and it's all over my uniform. Well, he kind of gets away from me and takes off running. I tackle him in these weeds that are high, right? So, everybody shows up. Well, his buddy, as soon as he hit that button, he knew what was up. So he's gone.
Yeah. He's like, fuck this. I'm out.
Like, I'm out. I know what's coming. I saw that Chris Rock video. And so I tackle him and we kind of roll and he ends up, I'm on my back and he's in between my legs. So I'm kicking him off of me. He grabs my leg and bites me in my calf.
Oh, Jesus.
And lucky enough, he didn't break it. But I had the superficial red marks where he did it. Well, that's when like people are showing up and they don't see me because we're in these weeds, right? And so I start yelling. And this is behind that blue store I told you about where the Jason's Lair. Yeah. So it's in that area because it's a high dope corner. And so I start screaming. Well, they come running and what do they see?
Blood?
Him on top of me covered in blood.
Oh, they think he's killing you?
They don't know it's his blood. So they come in and grab me. And I just kind of get up and I walk back to my car, find my glasses, and then more cars are pulling up. And like I said, we carried those SL20s, right? The big flashlights. And we didn't use batons because we had the flashlights. We used, we could use it as a baton.
Yeah.
And so I describe it like it was a minor league batting practice. All you heard was tink, tink, tink.
Oh my God.
Or like the old like Looney Tune cartoons when the cat and the dog are fighting. And it's a cloud.
Yeah.
And then the cat's like kind of trying to get away and they pull it back into the cloud.
It's like that?
It was, oh man.
And when he was, cracked out of his mind.
Yeah.
So,
well,
was that like,
and then also all they saw was me covered in blood and him on top of me.
Yeah.
They think you're fucking dying.
Or whatever, right? Oh man. And so we beat him down, or I shouldn't say we, because I walked away, get my stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Because I knew what was happening. I didn't get my licks in, but I got him in earlier. And I think I broke his arm when I was fighting him with him originally.
Really?
Yeah. I did an arm bar on him and I broke his arm.
And he still kept going.
Hey, dude, when you're high, you're high. And
do they train you guys for that kind of like talk about that on?
I mean, yeah, they have defensive tactics in the academy, but after that, you don't do it. And then if you don't do it your own, no. The majority of cops know nothing. They do the bare minimum. Just like to qualify with our weapon, we just have to shoot once a year in our birth month. This is how Texas was in Houston and stuff. They kind of changed it now. I think now it's twice a year they do. And then certain divisions, they do quarterly training. Like when I went to narcotics, we shot every 3 months.
Yeah.
And then it was open. You could always go to the range to shoot.
Yeah.
But the majority of cops, everybody's like, oh, they're the most highly trained. No. Yeah, we get a lot of training, but when it comes to shooting and fighting, first of all, it's all a perishable skill. If you do not use it, you lose it. And, shooting is mechanics. It's slow squeeze. It's not jerking the trigger. It's good grip strength, good grip hand, and eyesight. And, learning now with both, we were taught like one eye closed, one eye, to side up. And now, they finally let us all go to red dots, or they did. And now you got to learn how to quick point shoot, pick up that red dot and shoot with both eyes open and stuff. But if you don't practice, you're not going to get it.
Yeah.
Well, the majority of police do not do it.
Yeah.
They do the bare minimum. They show up in their birth month to qualify and that's it. They take the minimum classes. They don't do enough, and then also a lot of the training we get is about liability stuff. Because
to keep your asses out of trouble,
to keep the city out of trouble.
Yeah.
So it's like, you can't do this no more.
Yeah.
Look at this and what they did. You can't do this no more. This job is common sense.
Do you think that's more reactive for the city than it is proactive?
Oh, by far.
Yeah.
Because it's usually the reason our GOs was so thick was usually somebody messed up and they had to create a GO.
What's a GO?
General order, just like the rules.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh man, that's the Sam Julius GO because Sam did this and now we can't do it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So.
Did they ever give you like any kind of training or knowledge on dealing with someone who is high on drugs and how they basically they can become invincible.
Yes and no. I
No.
mean, they started mandating what they call CIT training, crisis intervention training, and it's dealing with people in crisis, mental health, and where now like everybody who goes through gets trained in that.
Yeah.
And then they have to have the state mandated it and that, but way before that, the city did it. HPD did it on their own. So that's why I didn't have to do it because
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that crap. And I'm here to put people in jail and talk somebody off of a ledge. But you need them. You need those people to deal with that. And
Yeah.
so now everybody is CIT trained. And part of that is somebody going through a narcotic episode.
Yeah.
You know, somebody on PCP, and when they're freaking out on PCP and they're going through those peaks and valleys that PCP does, where when they're on that peak and they're burning up and they're naked and you're fighting them and they don't feel pain and you're breaking stuff or you're shooting them and they're still coming at you because the pain receptors aren't triggering because of what PCP does. And again, it's all in how you personally react to something. You know, there could be somebody who could smoke crack and not be addicted, but you could smoke it once and the next thing you know, you're out there whoring yourself to get money because you just love it so much. You know, everybody's different to how they react to it. So
how do you mentally prepare yourself for something like that? Like the first time you go through it, obviously you don't know what to expect, but second, third, fourth time you go through it, there's got to be some steps that you take.
I would just crank up my metal music on the way to work.
Just amp yourself up.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know, not just a little bit about that. It's just you have to.
Yeah.
I mean, because you don't know what the next call is going to bring.
Yeah.
But you can't be amped up all the time. That's not, you know.
You amped up all the time, then you start making knee-jerk reactions, stupid decisions.
On a scene that doesn't require it.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, you have to.
Mom and dad in the bedroom.
Yeah. 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 We're thumping him for beating mom and he's just slapping her ass, having fun. You know? And, but, you know, I mean, this job is common sense. This job is common sense. But the problem is you can't train common sense.
No.
No.
You know, I can look at a corner and tell you who's messing up. I was good at that.
By messing up. Like when you say that, like describe a corner for me.
Well, like a dope corner.
Yeah, but describe a dope corner.
Take me like 5 minutes. You know, people just hanging out in front of a convenience store, right?
Okay.
I can sit there for about 5 minutes and if I and know within 5 minutes probably who the dope dealer is, if it is a dope corner.
Yeah.
You know, there might be people just hanging out drinking. Okay. You know, people do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. But if it's a dope corner, within 5 minutes, I should know who the dope dealer is.
I say, yeah, people hanging out drinking. I don't know anybody who hangs out and drinks in front of a fucking convenience store, but
well,
for the sake
the lower incomes areas.
So
where I work,
like in those the drug areas.
Yeah.
That's a common theme.
I mean, because not only do they do drugs, they drink a lot too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and it's both hand in hand pretty much.
Where the fuck does the money come from? If it's already a low income neighborhood, how do these low income people have the income to pay for the drugs?
Some people work. I mean, they work. They work in them stores or, you know, or whatever, you know, and then there's the ones that, you know, they get their money however they can.
Do you think, is there like, just in your opinion, through your experience, do you think a lot of the drug addicts in those areas, in those neighborhoods, in those isolated societies, do you think they still work functional lives?
Some
by
far. I mean, just like us, you know, you have your working alcoholics.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. You can have somebody who does his bender every weekend, but Monday he goes to work.
Okay.
And then on the weekends he goes through his bender again. And people will crack, you know. He's able to work all day, but as soon as he gets off, he smokes a rock. It all depends on how that body's wired and how that body responds to what you're ingesting.
Yeah.
I would think, you know. So, and it's just like alcohol, man. You know, some people just cannot drink.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So we talked to I think you listened to the
I
Drew episode. How he said for him, the way that it manifested for him was the desire or the craving for more.
Yeah.
He had to have more.
How his body craves it. So, I mean, it sounds like he's got a physical dependency on it. And a lot of these drugs end up becoming mental more, I think. You know, well, heroin's a physical. Like marijuana is a mental by far. And because like I needed to calm down. Well, no, how about you try and calm down some other way?
Yeah.
Or, I need it because I'm stressed. Well, there's other ways to de-stress.
What do you in law enforcement? Obviously, you've got your own bias because you enforced the law for 29 years, and but when it comes to things like marijuana, you bring that up. Medical marijuana. Obviously, medical marijuana is legal and is legal for specific reasons, but you and I both know that people abuse that.
Oh, by far. I mean,
what are your thoughts on that?
It needs to be done more through a medical, not, if I can go in a smoke shop and get a physician assistant just to cut me a script because I say I got night terrors. No.
Okay.
There needs to be more done on it.
If medical marijuana in Nebraska is just like 2025 elections or 2024 elections just got this past year. So it hasn't really been implemented yet other than that Delta 8 farm bill that passed.
Yeah, but that's not marijuana. And that's the other thing that people got to realize. Delta 8 is not marijuana. When that Kush, was it called Kush up here? The synthetic marijuana?
Yeah, yeah.
K2.
K2, yeah. It was
spice.
Or spice. Yeah. So it was called Kush back in Houston.
I saw people use that shit in prison. Holy fuck.
Zombies.
Worse. Man, yeah. I've never seen shit like that.
But, they sold it as a synthetic marijuana, but it's not marijuana. It's not a marijuana it's a chemical. Okay?
Yeah.
It's not THC. They didn't make THC.
No.
They made a chemical, and it's on this, Kush was this herb or whatever from the Kush Mountains in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
So they sprayed it on that, and so they called it Kush.
Okay.
And, yeah, it got them high, but not like weed. It's
Afghanistan used to have a very high marijuana supply.
Oh, yeah. By far. I don't doubt that.
And the biggest poppy supply in the world.
Yeah.
What are you talking? Who did?
Afghanistan.
Oh, yeah. I mean, don't they still have a huge poppy?
I think they still do.
Yeah.
But if you talk to a couple military guys, they have really interesting stories to share about that stuff.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
Yeah. I've seen pictures of military people that have been in Afghanistan, and I'm like, there's a poppy field. They're like, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of many.
So one of the guys that worked in narcotics, he was doing this big heroin deal, and they flew him over, where did he go, South Africa? And he met with like a Taliban guy.
Oh, yeah?
To set up heroin.
Fucking A, man.
Because
that's nuts. People live such a sheltered life.
Yeah.
So they just have no idea you might guess, but fuck, man, you hear that, like that's not necessarily firsthand, but it's secondhand. Like you're in touch, or you're in contact with that stuff.
Yeah.
You know that stuff really exists in the world.
Yeah.
And that these dangers, these real active dangers exist, and people put on fucking Kardashians or one of those masked singers or some shit like that, and they live their life without the fucking clue what like the real dangers that are out there.
Oh, by far. I mean, yeah, they live in these rose-colored glasses.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is what it is. So, I mean, like I was saying, this job is common sense, and you can't train that.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to see dangers. You have to be able to see it and articulate what you saw and why you did it. And, but some people you just can't, and prime example, this guy used to ride with me, but, and like I said, I was busy. They would stick these rookies with me because they knew I was busy, and I went out there and my classmate and the guys around my time, we went out there and run and gunned, we chased the bad guys, chased the dope dealers, targeted the same areas. They knew us, we knew them, and so I ran up into a smokehouse, and there were like 10 guys, 10 plus people in that house. And he came from another department. And so he got all upset about it because he's like, I was dangerous because I ran up there, just me and him, with 10 other people in that place. But it's also about your command. Yeah, it is, right? We're outnumbered, but also you have to have that command presence and let them people in there know this guy means business. I don't know if I want to push it,
Yeah.
So when was there, you see you in the same areas, you know them, they know you. Like, when do you, is there ever reach a point where you're like, fucking A, this is just literally a Tom and Jerry situation. I catch them, they get let go. I catch them again, they get let go.
Oh yeah,
I
by
catch
far,
them
it's
again.
a game.
This
It's a
is
game.
bullshit.
Yeah, and Like this one guy, we got him finally, and he had a pill bottle full of crack in the trunk of his car, right? And we got him. He went to prison for like 5 years, and then when I saw him afterwards, he's like, "Yeah, you got me that time."
That time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So yeah, it's a back and forth. It's a game.
did you ever have real conversations with these people and be like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah,
now
when
like,
like after like
let's stop doing this.
yeah, or like the younger one
Yeah.
of that family, and I was like, man, you're still young enough not to follow their footsteps. You need to go back to school, get back into school and do your education. I know it's hard, it's difficult, but why do you want to go to jail like, your brothers or
Mm.
your uncles? The goal, and it was a big joke was like, yeah, the goal was I put 3 generations of a family in jail. I started with grandpa.
That's fucked up.
I got the dad and then I got the kid. Because these guys worked their whole career at a patrol station, and it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's these old heads that would put 3 generations of a family in jail because it just the same cycle over and over and over again with
Like, how the hell does somebody, is it even possible for an outside force to break that cycle or to help break that cycle in those situations?
I mean, the thing is you got to uplift that neighborhood.
And I get like starting with education, but
Education, you have to invest capital and improve the living conditions.
yeah,
Like
I'm-
building
So- and
better
that's-
housing.
that's a bureaucracy.
Tearing down abandoned places that are so there's an old criminal justice theory called the broken windows theory, and the gist of it is that like I park a car on the street and it's fine, right? Then I bust a window in it, then all the vandalism starts because as people walk by, there's like, oh, it's just a broken down car, but then it's got a busted window, then it's like, nobody cares.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
I'm gonna reach
that's
in
the
and
gist of it. I mean,
snap a little
it's
something
definitely
out of there.
yeah, or and then next thing you know, it's all stripped and it's just on cinder blocks.
Yeah.
And that's the gist of it. I'm not going in a whole
I know
Yeah.
what you mean.
yeah, because I haven't looked at it since I went to college. And but that's the gist of it. The broken windows theory of if you don't upkeep the area, it's going to attract that element.
It's just going to continue to slippery slope its way down into
Yeah.
sludge.
So, I mean, yeah, you have to invest capital in these areas to improve the areas, tear down the eyesores,
Create,
and
bring in businesses so people
create
can have
opportunities. Yeah.
jobs.
I'm not all about just giving them money. Here's
Was that your foot or was that Ringo?
No, it was the microphone.
Yeah.
I twisted
Oh.
it.
I was like, what the hell was that?
Yeah. And so, I'm not all about just giving them money to, because that, it's a lottery effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many
And it-
people win the lottery and then they're broke within,
Oh, wait.
Or,
Yeah.
you just hand people like, I'm not saying this in a bad way, but like I generally try to, with a homeless person, give more of food or an item versus money because
you don't want to
you don't know
bad
able.
habits.
So it's the
by far.
same thing. You give you see someone who's an alcoholic and you give them $20 so they got no money. What do you think the first things they're gonna go do was go buy more alcohol versus use that $20
or
to maybe-
drugs or
yeah,
crack or
whatever
whatever.
it
Yeah,
is. Yeah, whatever their vice is.
Yeah. Now
So
it's
I
massive.
agree. That's not gonna be the answer either.
Yeah. So, I think that's, you have to, I think the main thing is you have to improve the education in the inner cities. You have to improve the areas and invest capital, bring in businesses to hire people, and set up training programs to help people who have turned their life around to help them get jobs. They might have the felony on the record, so they're not able to get jobs, but try and find companies that will, hey, this guy's been off parole, he's been out of prison for 10 years and he's never been in trouble. He's shown he's changed, turned
Yeah.
the page,
Yeah.
you should not hold it against him, and that. So, it's definitely a bigger, stronger topic for somebody else more knowledgeable.
And
Yeah.
I appreciate that, but I
Yeah.
still think it doesn't hurt to have a
Oh, yeah.
discussion
Yeah.
on a layman's level.
Oh,
like
yeah,
we
by
are.
far. So, yeah, like I said, you have to improve the education. You have to improve the area that they live. There shouldn't be homes, abandoned homes where people can just live in there and do
Shitting
their
in
drugs.
buckets with
Yeah.
10-year-olds sleeping on mats on the floor.
Yeah, with
Cockroaches
roaches
everywhere.
Yeah, and no food, and so yeah, by far.
Did you ever in your career, because you've seen the worst of the worst, people doing the worst of the worst to each other, did it ever change your look on humanity and people themselves?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, you know, mm, I don't want to say I don't care, but I don't want to say I see the worst in people, but I definitely don't trust people
Yeah.
when I first meet them.
Yeah.
What inspires that emotion, that lack of trust when you first meet them? What are you apprehensive about?
Because I don't know who you are and how you are yet.
But what are you apprehensive about?
How do I know you're not what are you going to do?
Why is that your
I
first
don't know.
thought?
I mean, it's just, and it could be just a lot just because, growing up, I didn't, I had friends, but not a lot. Like I said, I didn't go to parties.
You've got a hard guard up.
Yeah, by far.
That's like, let's talk about that for a minute.
And oh yeah, by far. Everybody who meets me at first is like, man, you got to get past that. Once you get past him, he's a good dude.
Mm-hmm.
But he comes off as a dick. But you got to get past. You got to get past it.
Grumpy Matt.
Yeah, well, yeah, by far. Yeah, by far. I mean, that's how I am.
Do you ever look at it as because you spent your career being lied to all the time by people? And
No, I
so,
was like that before.
oh, okay.
I was
So-
always,
hmm
I mean, I'm an A type by far, but I'm not an extrovert.
Yeah.
When I meet people I don't know, I just like, what am I going to talk to them about? So I don't talk. That's why I was never really, like when I became a cop, man, I had a buddy of mine. He goes, man, I'd be slaying the women, dude. Chicks dig a guy in uniform and you should have. And I'm like, it's not me.
The post office, the postmaster guy doesn't think that.
Yeah.
Dude's walking through, got all sorts of chicks on his arms, his mailbag on his hip.
Hey, you never
It's
know.
the uniform, gentlemen.
Yeah, you never
He
know.
starts handing out stamps and shit.
Hey, I could use some stamps.
Yeah. And so, and probably a lot, stem just because, like I said, in high school, I didn't get along with a lot of, not that I didn't get along. I just didn't have,
That social aspect.
yeah, I didn't have the huge social circle.
Mhm.
And so I didn't talk to a lot of people. I just kind of hung out with the people I knew and that was it.
I
And
think
so-
it's a product of your upbringing. Your
I mean, yeah,
your-
me
your
and my
adopted-
brother.
your adopted father, relatively quickly in your young age, started teaching you the ins and outs of the career. And at a young age, you're impressionable, and you start understanding these different what do you call them? These different. I'm trying to think of the right word. These different mechanisms that take place to shape that reality, to shape that lifestyle, that
Mhm.
criminal enterprise. And you, as a young guy, you're seeing these things, and you know how to protect yourself from these things by learning from your adopted father. You ever think that?
No,
You just straight up, you're just a hard ass, just a straight up cold
No.
guy. Like, I don't fucking trust anybody.
yeah, I mean, I had some stuff happen to me when I was young.
Yeah.
And it definitely made me defensive against people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
What do you mean you had stuff like what young?
just something happened to me when I was young.
You get beat up?
No. But, and so it made me apprehensive
Yeah.
Mhm.
and guarded against. But, and I think it doesn't affect me, but it's still in the sense that I'm guarded.
It's interesting that I hear, like, I'm learning a lot about your story, and I've talked to other people on this podcast, and their stories are extremely similar to yours, only they went a completely different fucking direction
Yeah.
than you did.
Yeah, oh yeah, by far.
Very, 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 very similar stories.
But, I mean, yeah, and mine was because, and, there's that whole, I don't know if you ever heard it, but like cop sons or preacher daughters.
Yeah.
You've heard it, right?
Yeah.
I haven't. Go ahead and
So
enlighten
cop
me.
son, usually a cop son is the bad guy.
Mhm.
He turns out to be a bad guy.
Yeah,
like a
because-
And the
criminal.
preacher's daughter is usually the one out dating
Promiscuous.
everybody.
Yeah, the
little-
promiscuous
The-
one because
the neighborhood bike.
yeah,
Yeah.
everybody got a ride,
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and I guess I wasn't the typical cop son because
Yeah.
I didn't become really a douchebag till I got older. I was a good kid,
Still fighting through that one, are you?
and so just things, I mean, my life experiences or whatever made me the way I am, where I'm guarded and, I'm, like I said, I'm an A type by far, but I'm not an extrovert.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to stop by throughtherough.net to check out our latest episodes, merchandise, and hit that donation tab to keep content coming. See you again next week.